Brian.
Hello, Rachel.
How are you?
I am doing very well. How about yourself?
Feeling a little bit tender.
Tender? Why?
You know,
Did our fight from the last one ship really leave you reeling all of this time?
No. It's just because this episode deals with a dead dad, and, you know, that hits closer to home now.
Did your dad die in prison?
No. He died in the ICU.
Did he die, but they think you predeceased him, and now you have to contend with the fact that that's not true?
No, there's
and
not that much of an overlap with me and Clarissa.
But you do have a mod. You're very strong when you click your tongue against the roof of your mouth. Rachel can lift me. That's true.
That is true. I don't need a mod to do that.
Rachel is just pure strength. And we are here today to talk about a one-ship short from the Expanse. And you've already touched upon some of the things that are contained within it, and clearly it registered with you greatly. And for those who are still unaware of the one ships, these are random minisodes, webisodes that were put out in conjunction with the episodes of the final season. They can be found, I guess, on Amazon through the X-ray feature, but most people don't know these exist. There are 5 of them in total. We are up to the 4th one, the penultimate one ship, and it is called Night Watch. The IMDb description is simple, short, and to the point. Clarissa receives some distressing news.
And I was right about this episode being Clarissa on Night Watch. And I did kind of get confirmation of that suspicion from the thumbnail.
That's why you don't look at thumbnails.
I
Rachel's looking ahead.
I was just trying to see the name of the next episode.
So, you have already told us a bit about what happens in this one ship, so how about you tell us more succinctly? Walk us through it.
Well, Clarissa is left on watch, on the night watch. She starts doing maintenance and going around. She starts out in the reactor room after leaving the bridge. Is it the bridge area?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then she goes to have some food and some extra salt with that gruel. And
because she loves salt, it helps her get through the terrible meal.
Yeah. I also wonder if it helps with, like, the mods as well. You know, there's electrolyte kind of shit. Don't know.
She's a salty person. That got Rachel for some reason. The show put it there.
Yeah, the show put it there. And then she watches the news, finds out that her dad's dead, destroys her comms, activates her mods, and trashes the galley.
She blacks out and wakes up after it has been destroyed.
And I found that really interesting because this episode switches between us kind of seeing Clarissa how we normally would and seeing her through the security footage.
It's very observational. That's how I would describe it. We are observing her.
And like when we're seeing the security footage, it's literally tracking her face.
Yes, it is.
Like, it's got the little kind of crosshair things following her.
It's very intrusive as well, yet distant.
Intimate.
Yeah.
And unsettling. Yeah.
Which matches the one ship's point overall, because we're getting a glimpse into the soul of Clarissa Mao, and she's having to confront some dark elements of her psyche as well. And as you said, she destroys everything, and then she records a private log in which she...
A little diary entry.
A little diary entry in which she talks about her time in prison, what she learned from doing the psychology there, and how she didn't believe in all of that. She thought it was stupid, and that this idea of parents and how we bond with them and how we feel about them.
Thing of like, she was like, she basically believed that she hated her dad so much that she could never care about him. And that this psychologist explained that you cannot overcome your biology in this way. We are built to care about our parents. You can't override that. And she thought that she could, and then finding out that her dad's dead really fucks with her because it does activate that.
And it's over. Her relationship with her father is officially over. She talks about how she knew that they would most likely never see each other again and that he never loved her.
What's the difference? What's the difference between me never seeing him again and him being alive, and me never seeing him and him being dead?
Yeah, it's quite a thought-provoking and emotional one-ship. And before we dive more deeply into it, how did you feel about this one? Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of the better one-ships, and it feels like it deserves to be this thing on its own. This is a moment with Clarissa. Whereas if this scene was in the show, you would want her dealing with it with other people and for other people to come in.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's her alone, it gives the space for her to grapple with this really complicated thing that she now has to process.
I'm mixed because I did love it. I thought this was really well done. It pays off the things that I've been wanting. I've been talking about wanting closure with Clarissa and Jules Pierre Mao.
Yeah.
I wanted that, but I'm also really, really unsure of having this be contained in a webisode that most people have never heard of. This has been a key part of her character, and the closure
I had a feeling that
for
you
this
were gonna
character's main problem at this point
is extracurricular reading.
Is not even extracurricular, but that it's sidelined.
And it's hidden.
And we don't know if the season itself will contend with this in any way, but we doubt. It seems like it's pretty wrapped up in this, and that is the bizarre thing about these one-ships. They have hit basically every mode of webisode style thing, where we have the first one. It works as a short on its own. It doesn't need to be in the episode it contains. It doesn't need to be in that episode. It flows well on its own, but if you watch the series...
It feels like a short film.
But it also does help aid the series itself, but you don't need it. Then you have the Zenobia episode, in which it feels like a deleted scene.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like a deleted scene.
That's got a little bit added to it.
To tinker with it, to make it not feel that way. Then you have Win or Lose, which is just fluff. It's meaningless fluff. It's fan service. It's just some fun to have with these actors and the set while we still have it. And this is the one in which I would say you needed this in the show. If you have this exist, you need it in the show or don't have it at all. It's one of those things where it's like, if you end the series, if you end the series and the sixth season never addresses her father, you'd have to take it on the chin and be like, well, that was the decision they made. I can accept it because she's grown.
Trimmed.
She's grown in all of these other ways. That's fine. But then if you found out, oh, by the way, no, that actually does get wrapped up in a random short, I feel annoyed by that because it should be in the show then.
Yeah, and this one I noticed more than the others, the fact that there's the credit like based on the book. which I didn't take note of in the other ones, but it might have been there.
I mean,
But-
they're all based on these books in some way.
Yeah.
Whether this is actually a
But
short story in the books or who knows.
I wonder if this is more directly lifted. And same with the first one. I wonder that.
My heart breaks as well because the actress Nadine Nicole, I do believe is her name.
She's beautiful in this.
It's one of her best
It's
performances.
stunning.
It's one of her best performances in the show, and most people don't even know it. Most people don't know it. This on IMDb is an 8 out of 10. How many ratings do you think it got? Like, how many people do you think voted that?
Oh, it annoys me because I'm pretty sure that's lower than the last one.
Yeah. So
400.
71.
Fuck.
71 people rated this.
Fuck.
71 people know that
Cared
this
enough.
cared enough to let us know that they liked it. Insane. Absolutely bonkers. And the previous one, 77 as well, with 8.8. This is one of her greatest performances in the show. She is burdened with doing the thing that's very difficult, which is giving a monologue aloud that is basically a way of the script
And
going
she keeps
through
on
the
talking
character
to
psychology.
herself.
Yeah. Which can be very awkward.
Yeah.
If not handled well by a performer, it can really fall on its face.
And I was thrown a little bit off by that at the start because it felt very much like, oh, they're setting up that she's talking to herself.
She's talking to the ship.
Like, and it's going to be just her. And they're going to stick with that. So they need to establish that she's talking out loud. Because you need that. You need that, and you need it to make sense if it's going to feel right and justify it. But I settled into it fairly quickly. Like, once she was kind of done with the reactor room, I was like, okay, this is what we're in for.
She's
and
cataloging the problems. Yeah.
This is what she is like when she's on her own, because we really haven't seen Peaches on her own. We know what Clarissa
was
like
when she was Melba.
Yeah, but we don't know Peaches on her own at the moment.
No, not at this time. And that she immediately is like, I got to throw myself into work and into tasks. I can't just relax. And then when she takes a moment to relax and she receives something that should throttle her into personal mode, she reacts in the way that she did that got her in trouble, which is activate my mod and freak the fuck out. And
I do wonder how conscious it was that she was activating her mod.
Oh, it seemed like she did that knowingly, but it's like a coping mechanism for her.
Yeah, because she was like, I can't deal with this. I've got to escape from this feeling. So she activates her mod and then kind of is still dealing with the regret of that when we wrap up the episode, because she's done her log and she's like, okay, I got to pick up the pieces now, quite literally.
Quite literally. This is a unique use of the mod as well, because I think for every other time she's done it, there's been the justification of self-defense for using this extreme ability. I killed Ren. I took down Ashford. I killed that guy that had Amos stripped down. Like, there's always some level of, I used it to defend ourselves or to take down an enemy. While this is her using it to avoid her feelings, which is, again, my jaw is left on the floor that this is basically something left out of the show. This is such a brilliant way of using the mod and getting to how much she's psychologically ripped apart by everything she's done, including having this mod.
Yeah, it really builds on the conversation that she had with Holden a couple of episodes ago now, when she explains why she got her mods in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
It very much is tied to that idea.
And it gives it almost an addictive quality. She knows it hurts her. She knows it makes her sick. But like with anyone who's suffering and is feeling guilty and is in this vicious cycle of self-harm, you can't, you go through doing it again and again and again. She sees that her dad is dead. She knows that all of the stuff she fought for is now officially meaningless. It's over. Like, she had the baseline of, I'm doing it for daddy. Now he's dead. And now she's left fully on her own, left to her own accords to really soak in that what she did was for nothing. She killed all of those people. She's ruined her life. She's now burdened and cursed with this mod. And it was all for who? For who? No one. No one at all. And now she has to sit in the literal mess of her actions. And this is a brilliant short.
I thought like the business of this short, like the movement and the mise-en-scene and the blocking of this short was just superb.
Jules Pierre Mao passed away in prison from some underlying illness. I thought that it was going to be revealed that he killed himself. That was just what my gut feeling was. But instead, it's something that was just going to happen at some point.
Inevitable.
It was an inevitability, most likely, and nothing could be done about it. And he's dead, and they remind that Julie is dead and that Clarissa is thought to be dead.
Yes.
And she may as well be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever Clarissa Mao doesn't exist anymore.
She won't get to go back. She won't get to attend a funeral or any kind of service. She doesn't belong there anymore. And there's also this question of, even if things had gone differently, she probably wouldn't have felt welcome there.
No, not at all. And she doesn't feel like Clarissa Mao anymore to herself. Clarissa Mao was a socialite, someone climbing for approval, and she no longer really needs that. That's what she goes through in this journal, this diary, that and this is, again, really complex and heavy stuff, but she wishes that she didn't love him. She knows that he never loved her, and that she wishes he was actually a good man and actually a good father, which were the two reasons she was trying to kill Holden. You took out a good man and my good dad.
Two separate things. Being a good man and a good father, separate things.
And he failed both.
Yeah.
And the thing that we've been seeing her talk about when it comes to her father is that she was not loved by him, and yet she loved him. And that's never been wholeheartedly addressed. It's been broached, but she hasn't really busted that open and like, why was that the case and what does that mean? She mainly focused on like, oh, Julie was the one taking up the affection, and now I have to take up the mantle now that she's gone and daddy's in prison, but there's no more excuses anymore. And we wrap up this one ship with her reconciling this death and this weird connection she has with a man that she meant nothing to, but he means everything to her, yet also not anything as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And the sort of abrupt closure of any further opportunities as well, even though she acknowledges that she was like never going to see him again and that she was never going to get what she wanted from him, but she could never shut down that hope. That hope was still there, deeply seated in this primal part of her.
Which goes back to what she learned in prison.
Mm-hmm.
The psychology of the connection between child and parent.
Yeah. I think this was one of the best scenes in The Expanse. So it's a very easy yum from me.
Yum yum.
I am 100% with you. It's a yum yum.
Yum yum.
It's a damn shame that the final season is constructed in the way it is. not only the lack of episodes, but it's not as if they make the episodes longer. And if they did, you could have had this in an episode. And yeah, you could expand it out to have her react to one of the crew members and they talk to her, whether it's Amos, whether it's Holden, whether it's Naomi, something could be going on here, but we'll have to wait and see if this is even glimpsed at in the season remaining, but I doubt it will be. This is just the nature of the beast of television. We live in an age of streaming and all of these different groups trying to vie for our attentions and yet also being incredibly impatient and making it really difficult and almost esoteric to keep track of shows.
Yeah. But, like, it's weirdly sort of reminiscent of when networks would move around the timings and days of shows that they didn't give a shit about.
But now we have the internet and we have streaming and television shows, not even ones that were fucked around with like The Expanse, have this need to make it feel like you should be invested more in it. Like, you should check out this audio drama or this webisode or read what the creator on Twitter said about the show to better understand the show. And it's like, who cares? In 10 years' time from whenever those things happened, most people won't know about them. That's what I really dread about these one-ships. Is like, they're nice, but at the same time, this was crucial to Clarissa Mao's character.
The example that popped into my head when you were going over that is, do you know what it is? Fortnite and Star Wars.
Oh, 100%. To understand the rise of Skywalker, you had to be at a Fortnite event.
Oh, God damn it.
And although this isn't as dire as that, these one-ships aren't as dire, but they are part of that problem. They are a part of that problem. The final season, yeah, it's 6 episodes. Would we like more? Of course. But why aren't the episodes longer? And then when I see something like this, you know what it does make me feel? Angrier and angrier at the Laconia stuff. Because I would rather you trade in all of the Laconia stuff for Clarissa Mao as a character who we've been invested in for 3 seasons now to get the closure of her character arc.
Yeah.
But instead, you have to do homework. You have to know we have patrons who have read the books and watched the show back and forward, but from back to front, and didn't know about these one ships until we started doing them as individual episodes. I'm still glad we didn't try to shove these into our main episode discussions because
I said that last time, but yes.
Each one of them has something unique and different and juicy to talk about.
And they were presented on their own. That's another reason why we chose to do it this way.
This one in particular feels the least relevant to the episode it comes after. Like the other ones, I'm like, oh, I can see how you would have been involved in that episode or relate to this one. This one, it could have been after the previous episode too.
Yeah.
It could be maybe after the next one, depending how things play out. But, it's good nonetheless.
Tethered.
The final one ship that we will be engaging in
and
that exists. Maybe they'll make more one day. Maybe that's how we get more Expanse. But it is called Remember the Can't.
Oh, a throwback.
We already had an episode called this too.
Yeah.
Remember the Can't. And you said it, a throwback. That's my prediction. I think this is going to be a flashback.
To the Can't?
To the days of the Can't.
I think so too, especially because Amos brought up the Can't in a conversation with Bobby recently. So maybe it'll be a little bit of Amos, or maybe even following Holden's dead girlfriend.
It has to be Holden. Because it's going
to be Holden. It's going to be Holden.
I think it's going to be.
I just want Amos.
I think it's going to be him reflecting through these flashbacks. We will be reflecting on how much he has changed. since the beginning. We're going to be given season 1 era type Holden characterization.
XO Holden.
XO, like, yeah, no, I don't want to be a guy in charge, Holden, to then reel us back into the series in which he's the guy who's making the life and death decisions on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's going to be a dream, though,
Sure.
because we've had quite a few of Holden's dreams.
Yeah, that,
So-
or memories in general.
Yeah,
for sure. Daydreaming, yeah.
That's just my guess.
Thank you all so much for listening out there. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the One Ships thus far. We would love to know what you think of these. How do you feel about the weird relationship of having webisodes / minisodes exist and have them either be something that matters, something that doesn't? Because this one in particular, we enjoyed it, but also it did get a rise out of me. I'm just like, come on. And what one ship have you people enjoyed? What one ship thus far have people enjoyed out there? Because we've heard some people give their pictures of who deserves a one ship. We know that the Remember the Cant will be most likely Holden and the Canterbury crew. Does that mean Jonathan Banks will show up?
Ooh,
Remember?
fun.
He was in charge. Maybe he's wiggling his toes in the dirt still. I wonder if he's okay. His character in The Expanse. I hope he's doing fine. But thank you all so much for listening. Until next time, we can only pray that the Gorn Belter will appear in the One Ship finale. It's not going to be Havelock.
Oh, God damn it.
Now Earthers know what it feels like to be Belter.